So, thanks. Welcome to the interview.
Thank you.
Today we're going to talk a bit about how you found your placement and how you dealt with some certain issues. Could you maybe introduce yourself at the beginning?
Yes, I'm Tessa Levert, and I'm a fourth-year student at the NHTV of International Leisure Management. I've done my placement last year from September till May in the United States at a non-profit company, Susan G. Komen.
I heard from a colleague that as well, who is doing his placement in the United States. It's quite hard to find a placement over there. How did you do it? How did you approach it?
So, my parents live in the United States, so through them I could already have a face-to-face interview, so I was really lucky with that, because normally they don't reply on emails. But I had a Skype meeting before that to have like face-to-face contact. And besides the preparation for just the company, there's a lot of preparation for getting to another country, especially the United States, because you have to have a visa for that, and you have to think of the care there is insurance there that you have to pay, and there's a lot you have to arrange. I think it took us at least 5 months to get everything done that we can at least fly there and do our internship. So that was really hard. Yeah, and there was not really help from school in that. You really had to figure it out by yourself, find your own sponsor, and they had to explain every step you have to take to get your visa.
Did you have a certain structure, or how you organized yourself? Did you write down did you make a to-do list, or did you ask your friends to remember your stuff?
You have a to-do list which is online. It's made by the government, and you can see exactly for if you want to go somewhere and go to school there, you have a separate visa, and then when you go there and work, and we had to take a work visa because we would go and work for a company and not go to a high school or university. Yeah.
Was there something that after what you said you completely missed this aspect, you really forgot about something?
So I could have done more research about the company itself. You do have to make your placement plan, placement proposal, so you already do a little bit of research, but I could have done it more extensive, so I would not be, then it wouldn't be that as hard for the first meeting, because I was sitting there and I didn't understand a word what they were saying, although I do speak English. They use terms, because it's a breast cancer company. I mean, they use terms about how you can take this scan, like the mammography and stuff, and I never learned anything about that, so that was all new for me. I could have learned more about that. Yeah.
You said it was quite tough. Did you expect to come out differently? Did you expect to be better prepared, let's say?
I was very nervous because it's a professional work field and you're just a student. Plus, you're not an American student but a Dutch student, so you don't really know the language or the culture. So I was really nervous about that, and they did take me in quite nicely in the company, and they really tried to help me and correct my language. But it's still, in the end, I wish maybe I would have done an internship not in the United States, because they look in a different way at interns. If you have an internship in the Netherlands, you have real responsibilities, and you're actually like a co-worker, which is unpaid and does things for school. But in the United States, it's more, an intern could also be the person that's just getting the lunch for everyone and stuff like that. So they don't really give you as many responsibilities, which in the end makes my internship maybe less good or less successful than I could have done it in another country.
You said your parents are living in the United States, so it was easier for you to get a contact, and I think you're really interested in this breast cancer, how to prevent it. What were, apart from this main criteria, the main criteria why you chose the company and chose to go to the United States?
United States is just easy because I could live there for free. I could just move in with my parents. And when you go to the States, you need a car because otherwise you can't even do your groceries. So that was easy too, because I could borrow a car that they had there. So what did you want?
The company, the criteria for the company?
The criteria for the company. Well, for them I had to do an event. It's called the Luncheon, Lunchroom is basically you invite people for a free lunch, you put them at tables. You really have to think about the table setting there because the aim of the lunch is to do a presentation about your company and have the people donate money for you.
Mm-hmm.
I did organize 3 of those luncheons, and I raised over $9,000
Nice.
for breast cancer. So I did achieve something for the company.
Mm-hmm.
They gave me this task in the last 10 weeks, so I already knew a little bit about the company, so I had more experience than I had in the beginning.
Nice.
And they already planned that for me, so that would be my task. I did it successfully. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, how were your first days moving to a different country and starting to work there? Was it difficult?
It's very difficult because you move away from all your friends, from everything you know, and for them it's all still there. They don't know you, and since they're all professionals and I'm a student, there's also an age difference.
True.
So it's really hard to connect with people sometimes, especially when you're working in a company that's so small. We only had 8 people working there at that location, and those people were working there together forever. Like they all worked for at least 5 years together, so they really know each other. And I'm just a new person that came in. So in the beginning, I feel really left out, and that did change a little. But it's not like I will keep in touch with anyone that I work with, to be honest. Yeah.
I think everyone has like a individual purpose when he's doing his internship, that he wants to achieve certain things on a working experience level. Did you set any expectation that you want to meet during your internship? That you said after your internship you want to know more about organizing events, more about marketing. Were any?
Yeah, I set goals for my placement. One of them was to learn better to speak up more, to not be afraid to speak English, which was pretty challenging when you move to a native English-speaking country. Because how hard you try, they will always hear. But I think I really improved. I think the main thing that I learned at this company is the non-profit techniques, because you don't learn those at school. And there are so many different ways and methods they use to get money out of people. Of course, for a good aim, because it's a non-profit, so they don't keep anything for it. And it's also interesting to see what they struggle with. Like most charities and non-profits, some people think that there is something not right. There was this whole thing going on about how we provided breast cancer health medication at places where they also did abortions, and in America that's really bad, and people don't go there even though it's just for, I don't know, like a cream for your infections or whatever. But those are things that you also have to defend. So I really had to learn to defend my company as well, and before you have to do that, you really have to understand the meaning and the values that the company has.
It's nice.
Yeah.
To which extent do you think university or the courses you had in university really prepared you for the real working life? Were there huge changes from the theory to the practical part?
I guess so. You have to choose a certain subject where you're gonna write your placement plan about. So I choose project management and Imagineering, since I had to do a lunch on. And I did use a lot of models, because I really looked back at what I did before, but I did that only for my placement plan, and the placement plan was for school and not for the company. For the company, I did make a different document, but also with models I learned from here. And that really impressed my coworkers, because they've never heard of like Falking or anything like that, Maslow. So they were really impressed by how I look different on certain situations. So they have a hard copy of my placement plan, and they said they would use it. I don't know if they would, but at least I left something there.
Nice. And you have this now the perspective of already having done this experience. If you could recommend me one thing or two things before starting my internship, whether it would be planning or organizational stuff.
Well, that's a hard one. I would recommend to to be involved in everything, because they gave me tasks and I wasn't really sure what they expected me to hand in. Do they want a Word document or Excel, or do they want me to give a presentation or plan a meeting? So it's not really clear. You don't get a description of your assignment as you do at school. And for me, it was really hard to communicate with supervisors and coworkers, but I think that is very important because it clarifies what they expect from you, and you want to give them what they expect. So I think communication about your assignments, about your questions, about how you feel about stuff is very important. I think they really appreciate that. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so let's come to the last question. Now, if you come back to the university, do you see, did you change in your working style, or is there anything you think you really changed?
I think so, because before I left I was very chaotic, and I find it really hard to focus on school stuff. And now my English has improved, so it seems like everything is written more clearly because I understand it more. Sometimes they formulate things in a different or weird way that I don't understand, but now I do. Also with writing, goes a lot faster, reading as well. And when I email one of my teachers now, I know how to do that. Normally I'm always struggling, like, dear Mr., Mrs., or should I not do dear, or, you know, and I sent so many emails for the company back then that I'm not afraid to do that anymore. And I really have a clearer vision of what I could do in the future after I have my diploma, which also helps me motivate to just finish it, pass all my exams, and write my thesis. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Then thanks a lot for having time for the interview.
No problem.
I wish you good luck for your academical future and your working life. And
right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Good luck with your placement.
Thanks.
All right.